Hello everybody, my name is Benji, and welcome back to Satisfactory, where I have been ever so slightly busy on the in-between streams, but mainly everything that we did on stream is still everything that we did on stream, including the completion of Phase 3, but I have done some beautification, because this is the final oil refinery for this specific part of the map. If we do anything from this point forward on this specific part of the map, it would simply be to overclock every machine and double the speed of every belt. But that's not exactly something that I think I'm gonna need to have happen for this specific location. There's more oil down in the Red Heaven region. There's more oil down in the Crater Lakes. There's even some more oil over here. And if all else fails, there's some more oil up here at the old Orange Heaven location. I think I said Red Heaven. I don't know. I meant Red Heaven for. So if we end up needing more oil and rubber, we can have more oil and rubber, or more plastic and rubber, in a different location. So for now, this is entirely finalized. And I really like how it all turned out. It's very simple. It's not very, loud and noisy. It's kind of blocky, but that's kind of the charm of it. It's got some weirdness in it, like the pipe going around the outside, the beacon sticking out the front, the slopes with the windows that let you see inside, the hexagon windows, because we all know hexagons are in fact bestagons. And then you can see all the stuff inside. I've even got like a little walkway. I'll show that off a little bit later. But then of course we also have all of this over here. So, this little jutting out and this little cutting off and then the pipe going straight up and all the pipe supports and all the stuff, right? The only thing that sucks is now there's only one way in. I guess two, technically. There's this way in, which is the janky way in, and then there's that way in right there. So, up here on the top floor, we have literally verbatim exactly what I said I would do, except we also have this little overhang. So from the second floor, you can see all the fuel generators, and I think that that's a pretty nice looking little design. Look at that. That's neat. I think that's nice. But yeah, we have 480 oil coming into these 16 refineries, making us plastic. And then all of the heavy oil residue comes on this top pipe over to here, combines with packaged water to make the diluted packaged fuel. Sorry, my timer is going off. And then the diluted packaged fuel goes into packagers and gets unpackaged in order to become empty packages and fuel. And then the fuel goes over there. Then the empty packages combine with the water and loop back around to get the whole system completely restarted in a loop. Then over here, the plastic and the fuel combine all together in order to make us the recycled rubber. And to keep the system running, to make sure that there's no byproducts backing up or anything else here, we still have our beautiful, beautiful, awesome sinks. And if you're very diligent, like I am, you'll notice that these refineries and the awesome sinks, as well as the water pipe, are in the identical position as they are on the bottom floor. The only thing that's different is a little bit of the water pipe, the fuel pipe, and the orientation of the rest of the packager loop, as well as the, lack of fuel generators. But that's because we get half as much heavy oil residue out of the plastic recipe as we do the rubber recipe. So we don't have any extra fuel to use for the fuel refineries. And then, yeah, we've got this nice little walkway. We've got some extra packages there in case something ends up slowing down. But for now, this all looks pretty solid. Now, another thing that I did off stream, before I get into the stuff that we did on stream, was a little bit of work to the train line. So let me go on ahead and get my now much longer personal train out of the way. And this is much longer because for Red Heaven, which is kind of the next thing on the docket, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, Red Heaven is going to require us to have a whole ton of batteries, the power storage, which means we're going to need to have a whole bunch more of other things. Actually, I'm gonna turn off self-driving for a second. Oh, come on. Let me drive the darn thing. We're gonna need to have a lot of power storages, and power storages are very expensive, so having them, you know, take up all the space in the inventory, we don't really want to do that, or we're gonna have to make multiple trips. So putting all the wire, modular frames, encased industrial beams, and cable that they're gonna require into the back of this train is gonna be very nice. And then another key observation. Oop, no. Boom. No? I'll just ride along in the back, that's fine. Another key observation here. Completely lost my train of thought. Literally lost my train of thought. Is the rails new? I think that's where I was going with that. Yeah, the rails are new. So if you look very closely here, this train line is new. It has a three-way junction going off to the dunes. Another three-way junction that we are coming up on here, and this got a little narrow, so I actually used the cave train blueprint to get me through. Another three-way going off into the dunes. And then we have the Titan Forest, not the Titan Forest, the Northern Forest on our left. And we also have the Spire Coast on our right, which is where the oil fields are. And we have no clipping or anything else of that nature along this entire path. It's very nice. We've got lots of big, like, architecture things on our left and on our right. A lot of alien stuff going on, which is cool. Waterfall. We like to get the trains wet. And then for anybody that has played in the Northern Forest, I didn't get rid of those. Oh well. I'll get rid of them later, because I'll be back working in this area a little later. There are 4 pure iron nodes, a pure limestone node, and 2 pure copper nodes up there. It is a favorite starting location for a majority of players. So that is where that ends up going. And we will be needing that very shortly here, in all honesty. The plastic and rubber hauler got ahead of us, which I think is funny. And then that is going to go off to the old Orange Heaven location. You can see the waterfall in the distance there. That's where that's going to head. And it's also going to snake up the forest a little bit as well, just to make things a little bit easier on the train throughput. And that's all the work that I've done on the train line as of now. Obviously, the train being very long causes some problems, especially with the path blocks, or the path signals for these big interchanges, but that's fine. It all works at the end of the day, and works quite well, and has a lot of storage capacity, and is also bidirectional for when I'm doing, you know, shit that doesn't require the automated train stuff. So let's talk about what we did at Home Sweet Home here. First things first, you'll notice some spaghetti, and that paschetti is very specifically for all of the Phase 3 space elevator parts. So, modular engines, check. Automated control units, check. And that uses the smart plating and the automated wiring. And it also siphons computers, heavy modular frames, and circuit boards, because whenever I'm going to be making these actually en masse, it's not going to be at this base, or at the very least, it's not going to be on this floor of this base. And then the other one siphons rubber and motors from the bottom floor. Engines, of course, we're somersloops it, because of course we're somersloops it. And that gets us Phase 3 ready to rock and ready to roll. And also a lot of ECUs and modular engines to sync once all of this is actually happening on the stream. Yeah, and then the last thing that we did, or actually, no, I'm forgetting something. We have some new production lines up here on the 3rd floor. Probably saw that on my way in. Completely forgot to mention it. Boom. I've been playing for 2 hours. Don't worry about it. I've been working on the trains. So, in here, we've got ourselves some beasts of production. Number one, we have 480 SAM being turned into reanimated SAM. Pipes being made, copper wire being made, and then all of that combines together in these two foundries to make me SAM fluctuators. And those SAM fluctuators are very nice because they are a requirement in not only the dimensional depot, but also in the alien power augmenter and some more stuff late game, I think. So I made 10 per minute. Sorry, 20 per minute. I made 20 per minute, which is very nice. Then we've got the quartz coming from the quartz hauler and the quartz cave, which is just getting back, combining with water to make pure quartz because it's cheaper, and silica because I don't have any limestone, even though cheap silica with the limestone alternate is cheaper. And then we have crystal oscillators. So all of the copper comes in right here to become wire, and then all of that wire comes in to become cable, and then that cable goes off to become the crystal oscillators. And then we're also consuming an entire 240 belt of iron ingots, which 180 of is going to make plates, and then the 60 rest are going to make screws. The plates and the screws combine together here at the very end in order to make the reinforced iron plates, and then the reinforced iron plates, crystals, and copper wire or cables come together in 8 manufacturers to make 8 crystal oscillators per minute. That's it. That's all this makes is 8. And that is a little bit ridiculous, but that is a-okay. And that is why we're able to have things like radar towers, the beacons. They're not actually the beacons. Beacons got removed from. That's okay. We don't need to worry about the beacons. I so badly want to just go down there and just flip the lever. I won't, because you guys deserve better than, like, I really wanna. I really do. I really wanna. And then the only other thing that we did on stream was a big old hard drive hunt. We went around. I'll actually show off the map here again. Before this stream, everything here was fog of war. Everything from this curve to the right was fog of war. But we went around and we got all of the hard drives in the dunes that we could afford. There's like one here that takes fused modular frames, and that's a while away. That's a very long while away. I think it's in tier 8. But like all the rest of them, there was like one here, one there, a couple down here. We even ventured into the swamp a little bit. We got one here and here. We ventured around here. There's lots of radiation, so we didn't stick around for too long. And then we got the rest of them in the northern forest that we were missing. The next time we end up doing a hard drive hunt is probably going to require us going back down the Gold Coast here a little bit of a ways, and grabbing, I think there's one there, there's one there, there's like one here, and if we look very closely, I believe we can see some of the other ones. There's one there, which we can't see. There's one way up there. I don't know if you can see it. It's not letting me ping it. Not letting me ping it still. I'm really trying. It's on my cursor. We already got this one, don't worry. You can see it up there, right? There you go, now you can. Now you can see it. Didn't have to end that way, buddy. So yeah, we went around, we got a whole bunch of hard drives. There's more that we can get, and there's a bunch that we, still need to obtain. But other than that, on our journey with all of that, we got a ton of slugs. And I'm gonna send those slugs into the grinder for your viewing pleasure. So, type slug. 60 blue power slugs, 61 now with this guy. 33 yellow slugs and 58 purple slugs into the grinder. Into the grinder they go. Oh my gosh, it clogs the belt. That's insane. That's insane. It clogged the belt. That's nuts. And then, of course, each of these is somerslooped. So one of these becomes 2. We had 61. That's 122 automatically. One of these becomes 4. So 33 times 4 is 132. 254. 254 plus, what was it? 56 or something? 63? No, it was like 55. We'll call it 55 just to be on the conservative side here. Plus 55 times 10 is 804. 804 power shards off of that alone. You can see we have fully encased the uploader. We have 400 here. We have more in my inventory. Look at that. That's absolutely great. Oh, also, a little bit of a goodie that we got out of all the stuff that we did. We got 19 turbo motors, 20 electromagnetic control rods, a bunch of aluminum sheets, a bunch of aluminum casings, 39 heat sinks, and I think that's it in terms of, like, spoils of war kind of stuff. But that is going to go down here with the hub, with our quantum computer, because we can't actually do anything, or sorry, with the supercomputer, because we can't actually do anything with any of that, so and then, of course, we also killed our fair share of aliens, so the aliens also get to go in the grinder. Remains, hog remains 50, hatcher remains 16. We always get more spitter remains, 124, and then some stinger remains, 6. So if I take this and do boom, 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 we've got all of the remains going in. You know what, actually, we also got a lot of somersloops. So why don't we somersloop these? Get me some extra production here. Get me some extra tickets. Because now we're going to quadruple the tickets. Because it's a 1-to-1. Now it's a 1-to-2 on the proteins. And then it's a 1-to-1, now a 1-to-2 on the alien DNA capsules. Which means that now it is a 1-to-4 for each of those in order to get me all of the crunchy crunch tickets. And look at that. 28,000. They're worth 1,000 each, so I don't know why it doesn't just say 28 DNA capsules each or something like that. I don't really know why it doesn't do that, but we already have 70 additional printable coupons here, which I think is crazy. Something clogged up. That's alright, though. Doesn't matter if it clogs, the system is never used permanently, so that is exactly what this system is meant. And yeah, that is pretty much everything that we did last time. So, talking about next time. Next time is going to start with me pulling the big lever in the space elevator. So what we're literally going to do... Oh, also I doubled up Aterium. You can see it over there. It's going to start like this. I'm going to take it, I'm going to pull it, seal it, send it, boom. We're going to have more shit up there. Then, that more shit up there is going to get us 0. Space elevator, pull the lever. Perfect. 1. Aluminum production. So I can't actually show off what exactly aluminum production is, because I don't have any of the tiers or any of the stuff, right? But what I can do is I can tell you that there is a pure bauxite node up there, another one up there, somewhere around There's one here, and there's a normal one down here. Or maybe this is the normal and this is the... Something like that. We're gonna go get those bauxite nodes. We're gonna harvest them and bring them here. Because there's water here, and we need water. Then, there's also some coal down here, and some quartz down here. More than likely, though, we're just gonna end up making quartz train stop, and then putting another train going to this quartz. Like, this guy, I think? Probably? Yeah, like this guy. Quartz hauler. There we go. We'll have quartz hauler 2, pulling quartz from down here, bringing it up to here. Because the way that it goes, and it's going to be very abstract, but the way that it goes is bauxite and water combine in a refinery to make a alumina solution and a silica byproduct. Then, so let me grab some visualization to help us out here. Bauxite and water go in, alumina solution and silica come out. That silica is going to be important later. The secret tool. It's going to help us later. Then, the alumina solution and coal go in, and we get aluminum scrap and water out. That water recycles back into the water input here for the bauxite. Cool? Cool. Then, in a foundry, we take the scrap and the silica, told you it would be important later, and we put it in here. The only issue is the fact that we don't have enough water as a byproduct to loop straight in as input like we do for the packager loop, so we're going to end up needing some water extractors for that. Imagine I place one of these. Also, we don't get enough silica out of that process in order for us to use here. So, we're going to need some constructors to make us, this is the one I can actually show, to make us silica. And we're going to need quite a bit of silica. I think it's 240 silica for 480 bauxite. And it's also going to end up being like 720 water. But this gives us like 300 or something stupid like that. I don't exactly remember the numbers, but we'll talk about that a little more on stream. With that aluminum ingots, those aluminum ingots are going to go onto a train, and then that train is going to be, I think, the second train. No, it's going to be the third train. Is it going to be the third train? I don't know what train it's going to be. It's going to be the second train! It's going to be this guy! So this guy is going to be the aluminum ingot guy. So this guy is going to end up going off, grabbing the aluminum ingots, bringing the aluminum ingots down here, and then those aluminum ingots are going to come over in factory along a belt or something along these. End up joining the bus and having all hunky-dory. Then, the aluminum ingots are going to, on their own, become alclad aluminum sheets, and then combine with copper to make the alclad aluminum casings. That is these two guys. And with these two guys, we're going to be able to unlock two things. Number one, the hover pack, because doing this to hover is really, really annoying and inconsistent. Hover pack is way better. And the other thing is something called a blender, which is basically a refinery, but if a refinery was an assembler. So you can imagine a refinery and an assembler have a baby, and that's a blender. Because the blender has two of these and two of these. And this guy is that, but for, you know, single built items only. So, two. So yeah, assembler but refinery, or refinery but assembler. One of the two, who cares? And with all of that, we finally get to start on Orange Heaven! Mark II, which is Red Heaven! There's the drop pod, you can see it now. And Red Heaven is going to be really cool, because it's going to do the exact same thing with the packager. So I know this is getting long, but I'm excited. We're going to keep explaining. We are going to do alternate heavy oil residue. Polymer resin, going to go to fabric and sink it. Actually going to go to plastic first, go on a plastic train, and then that plastic train is going to do some funky shit, and then the rest of it is going to go to fabric and get sunk because it's the most expensive, and we don't want this to back up. Cool. Heavy oil residue. Then, heavy oil residue and water become packaged fuel. Then, in a blender, we're just gonna put this as a blender. The blender is going, or sorry, no. I'm stupid. We don't need that at all. My bad. Nah. Pretend this is a blender. Heavy oil residue and water. No packaged anything. Goes into here. It's the whole reason why we need the blender. Goes into the blender, becomes the diluted fuel just automatically in the blender. It's going to be great. Then, somewhere else along the lines, we have these assemblers making compacted coal. Imagine this is compacted coal. We don't actually have that unlocked yet. We're going to unlock it right now. I'm all over the place. It's great. We're not going to unlock it right now. I don't have any sulfur on my inventory. Just imagine that this is compacted coal. We're going to have a bunch of these making compacted coal. That compacted coal and fuel is going to go together in even more refineries. I'm going to get the man back out. And that's going to make turbo fuel, because we need turbo fuel to make that happen. And then that turbo fuel, with all this, you know, production that ended up happening, is going to go to generators, and we're going to get 30,000 megawatts of power, and then we're going to put down a SAM fluctuator and get an additional, what's 10% of 30,000 plus what we already have? It's like 4K, basically. We're going to get an extra 4K power for free, which currently 4K power is what this area over here is making on its own. So, gonna be a big project, gonna be a worth it project, because our current power grid kinda stinks. It's kinda ass. And we don't like it. It gets the job done, but like, yeah, our max consumption is 11.8, and our max production at peak from the geothermal vents is 10.3. So yeah, do with that what you will. We need more power, and 30K will sustain us for quite a bit, probably until we get to nuclear. But yeah, that is finally everything. So sorry I rambled on for so long. Thank you if you made it all the way to the end. Your, you know, unwavering support really does mean a shit ton to me, and y'all are great. But that is going to be it for this one. So thank you everybody so much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed. But without further ado, adios, sayonara, au revoir, hasta la vista, das padanya, auf Wiedersehen, ciao, and goodbye. Please have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Get some sleep if you need to. Don't forget to stay hydrated. This video is in the bag, and I will see you all in stream on Monday night, where I will not be able to stop talking about Factorio Space Age. Later, y'all!